Hello, everybody. Andy Jacob here with the Entrepreneur Spotlight Show, and I have a great show today. We talk about it all the time that we love entrepreneurs that specialize in a certain space. They specialize in a certain vertical, and we've been able to bring back on the show Miss Lori Werner. And Lori, of course, is the founder of Medical Marketing Whiz. And one thing we love about what Lori's doing is she really's found a great niche. She's helped so many companies, so many medical teams, so many physicians with their marketing to boost their visibility and their patient retention. It's really remarkable. Throughout her career, she's brought over $3 billion of advanced, I'm going to call it revenue, to people who she's helped. And Lori, you're such a spark and an inspiration. Welcome to the Entrepreneur Spotlight Show.
Well, it is fantastic to be back again, and love to see the growth that you've had also, Andy, and everything you're doing to get the word out. Yeah, super excited to kind of give you an update. And the world of marketing is ever changing, so I know we got a lot of new things to talk about. So yeah, happy to be here.
Yeah, I love it so much. And you and your team, you've got a great team. We're going to talk about that in a little bit, but you really have a practice that is exclusively tailored to the private practice physicians in the fields of, let's say, women's health, anti-aging medicine, which I'm big on because I'm getting so old right now, and holistic health. So let's talk about it. Tell us about the specialty. What type of physicians do you work with? And give us sort of the high level from 30,000 feet about what you do.
Sure. Yeah. So this space is, I believe, the future of medicine. So over the past, if we look at 10 years ago, a lot of private practice physicians were actually kind of throwing in the towel and saying, you know what, I'm just going to go work for the hospital system, and so they lose a lot of their autonomy when they do that, and the shift that has happened really in the last 5 years and is going to continue to happen is the shift back to doctors being in private practice. And it is because this anti-aging and longevity space has just exploded, and it's only going to continue to grow. And I don't know, we like to blame everything on COVID. But truthfully, it was a wake-up call for a lot of people that, we cannot put a Band-Aid on our health. We have to think about the root cause of what's going on. If I'm having skin issues, is it really my gut? Is it something I'm eating, or do I just want to go and put some, cream on my face, right? So we're seeing a lot more doctors. And at the end of the day, right, these doctors went into medicine to practice medicine and spend time with their patients. And in the sick care model, they're not able to do that. And so I'm sure you can tell, I'm very, very passionate about this. Partly, I know you joked at the beginning that, anti-aging and longevity, that's your thing. It's my thing too. I'm almost 50. I don't want to be 50. I don't want to look 50. I don't want to look 60. I don't want to look 70. I want to be the lady that everybody's like, hey, she looks pretty good for her age. But part of that is making sure that you're healthy, and you've got to be able to find the doctors that are actually doing this sort of stuff. And so what we love about what we do and why we're, I think, very, very good at it is everybody that works for Medical Marketing Whiz, we are also the consumer of these things. We are into wellness. We are into prevention. We are into gut health. We are into hormone balance. And so it kind of is our opportunity as an agency to have the megaphone to connect with the best doctors and let more people know who these doctors are. And so that's kind of our bigger mission, is to connect with the actual best doctors. That's the other thing. I'm not in the business of taking anybody that just, wants to give us money for marketing. We spend a lot of time when we do strategy calls with doctors looking at is this actually a really good doctor or not? If I get on a call and somebody's like, hey, I need your help with marketing because my online reputation's not really that good. Do I really want more people to find out about that doctor? Probably not. So that's just kind of a little overview of why we're in this space. And then of course we can talk a little bit more about what we do specifically, but.
Yeah, I love it, Lori. Of course, you have a woman-led team, and
Yeah.
you really understand, because of that, you understand the way that the physician's patients are thinking. And really the reason why is because you really are the ideal patient for your clients. So you really have this inside look. Is that the way it works?
Yeah. And I'm glad you brought that up because women are, whether even men, right? Like I say, my husband wouldn't go to the dentist if I wasn't making his dentist appointment. My parents are aging and they're looking at, where to go get their hip replaced. And guess who's doing the research on who's the best, orthopedic surgeon for my mom to go see? It's me. Same thing with making appointments for my kids. So yes, we're focused on women's wellness, but we're really are speaking to women kind of more in general when it comes to healthcare, because a lot of times they are the ones that are doing that research and making those appointments and such for themselves and for their family members. And so, yes, our team, we really look at marketing kind of more holistically. It's not just, a lot of these agencies, it's like, let's run some Google ads or some Facebook ads. Like that's kind of their whole 30 patients in 30 days. And to be honest, then those 30 patients, like 29 of them are actually not even good leads. And then the doctor's like, well, to heck with this marketing, like this doesn't work. We look at it from the standpoint of how do I go about even researching the condition? How do I then choose 2 or 3 doctors that I'm going to kind of do a little more research on? And then ultimately, how do I pick who I'm going to go to? Because I'm doing all of that before I ever call you, before I ever call on the phone. So we need to make sure that, right, like their website positions them as an expert, that their website actually gets found on Google when someone is searching, that their website is written in terms that of the things that people are searching for, not this like real high level medical terminology. And then also, I know you're a really big advocate of like getting awards, and you guys have your .com impact award that you award to different entrepreneurs. Same thing with doctors. We want to get them awards. We want them to be best doctor in their community. And then we want to leverage that stuff with press releases and making sure it's on their website with the logo and on their social media, because that's the stuff that really, those are the things that are, if I'm choosing between Dr. A, B, and C, that could make the difference of, oh, this person actually seems like more of an expert in what's going on than, the person that just has the meta ads going and a stock photo filled website. So there's that piece of it. And then also the education. So I personally believe when it comes to marketing in the healthcare space, and we could say healthcare, we could say aesthetics, we could say functional medicine, any of those sort of topics, people don't want to feel like their doctor's selling them stuff. You can't run an 50% off of hormone testing. Like, to me, that just, it cheapens it and it makes it seem like it's a not really a necessary thing to have done. So our motto is education-based marketing. He or she who is the best at educating their patients and their community is authentically the best at marketing, and you will become a patient attraction magnet. So that might be educating through social media, educating through a monthly email newsletter, doing webinars, doing podcast interviews like this, right? Where people can get to know you and you can teach a little bit. That to me is the thing that is the difference maker when it comes to this sort of space.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, it makes sense. And of course, you focus on strategies to promote women's health for your clients, holistic health, anti-aging, and the like. And of course, it's very, very important. And like you said, you don't want to cheapen a brand. You want the brand to come off as the experts that they are. So
Yeah.
let's talk about how you harness the power of various marketing channels. Is there a certain marketing channel that gets across the expertise of the physician better than another one? Or is it using all of them, social media, email campaigns, webinars, podcasts, events, local search engine optimization? Is there one go-to for your process, or to use them all?
So we use them all, but I think there's an order of importance. So again, thinking of how the consumer is searching, we're going to look at your reviews. So we do this if we are figuring out what Chinese restaurant we want for dinner, for shopping on Amazon. We're going to sort by the most purchased item, and we're going to filter by only 4.5 stars and up. If a patient is going to pay cash for services, they're certainly going to look at that stuff. So if you do social media and you do email and you do all these things and you have 3 Google reviews, you're wasting your time. So we want to first start out excellent online reputation. I would say a minimum of 50 Google reviews. We'd like that to be more like, 200-300 Google reviews, but a minimum of 50 Google reviews at like a 4.9 star or higher. That also helps you. It's kind of indirectly part of search engine optimization. Google loves it if you have a lot of reviews. It does help you, right? And then SEO. So if you're going to be seen as the best, you've got to have good content and you've got to be found in search. So the things like the press releases where you're getting as seen on ABC and NBC and CBS and the Associated Press, those help you with search engine optimization and also builds authority. That could be kind of the difference maker of somebody choosing you. So I always start with reputation and search engine optimization. Because again, you got to do marketing step 1, 2, and 3 before you're doing 5, 6, and 7. And it is amazing to me how many calls I do with doctors and they're doing 5, 6, 7, and they haven't done 1, 2, 3, and they have wasted a ridiculous amount of time and money. And then they have like PTSD about their marketing agency that they worked with. So this is what I see a lot. So I would say that's the foundation. And then again, to me, right, if I was able to go to an event and meet a doctor and hear them speak, or I was able to watch a webinar or a podcast interview and hear the doctor speak and be an expert, that is something that also would be a difference maker to me as a consumer. So I think that is, honestly, it's even more important than social media. It really is. And you can post that stuff on social media, but that educational aspect of it is very, very important.
Yeah, makes sense. What's the first call sound like? They've heard about you, they've seen your speaking engagements, you're very prolific in writing, your team is amazing. They've heard about Medical Marketing Whiz, they call you up. Are physicians saying, hey, I'm working with an existing group and I'm not real happy with the results? Or is the call mostly, hey, I've never done this before, but I need some help? Or is it a combination?
So it's funny. Right before this call, I was just on a team call and we were actually talking about this exact thing. So it's probably 50-50. We do get a lot of startups where it's like, hey, I just quit my old practice. I'm going out on my own. I want to do wellness or I want to do aesthetics. I don't have a website. I don't have the first clue of what I'm doing. And I'm scared to death about it, right? Because this is a big deal of them like going out and being out on their own. So we sort of have a program specific for that person. They need a website. They need an online presence. They need, Google business. They need, their social media just set up correctly, right? The other half is the doctor that has PTSD of the 3 or 4 terrible marketing companies that they've worked with. And they're very skeptical. They're frustrated. Most of the time they've heard me speak at a conference or they've read my book. So I have a book. I have 2 different medical marketing books on Amazon. So they've somehow got a hold of that book and they're like, okay, this lady seems a little bit different. Let's just see what she has to say. Right. And then we do a strategy call. So I am not a super pushy salesperson at all. I spend a lot of time on a call we do like a 30-page marketing analysis for them. We look up their website traffic. We look up their SEO. We do this whole deep dive. So we do a competitor analysis. And I basically spend an hour going through that with them. And I tell them at the beginning, listen, whether you decide to work with us or not, I promise you, you will get value out. I had one guy that told me he had interviewed, and I don't even believe this to be true, but he told me he had interviewed 45 marketing companies and they're all the same. And I was like, all right. Wow, that must have taken a lot of time for you to interview 45 marketing companies. But I said, at the end of this call, if you think we're the same as everybody else, I will literally send you $100 in the mail. I'll send you $1,000 in the mail. And then at the end of the call, I'm like, so do I owe you anything? And he's like, no.
Oh, I love it. I love it. So that's a unique selling proposition. That's fantastic.
Yeah. And at the end of it, it's really, I don't really have to ask for the sale because they know at the end if we're a good fit or not. And I've given them so much value. And of course, I'm interviewing them too, right? Because I will only want to work with really, really good doctors. And I let them know about that. So I think it's kind of a breath of fresh air for them that this isn't some I mean, no offense to the 20-some-year-old really smart people out there, but typically a lot of it is some 20-some-year-old guy that's memorized a sales script. And it's really like, on a scale of 1 to 10, how interested are you today? And then it's like, well, if you don't sign up with me, I'm finding somebody in your area and I'm going over to this other op. Like that to me is just cringy. Like
Yeah.
I just feel like if we give a lot of value, you're going to see that value. And if it's a good fit, great. And if not, you know what? Sometimes these people call us a year later and they're like, your book's been sitting on my desk. I'm ready to talk now. So
I love
that
it.
could have worked.
I love it. If I think about Medical Marketing Whiz, I think about overwhelming value. And of course, the books, we're going to put some links up in the description below. We'll actually put some photos of the book up as well. I want to do an about face just a little bit and talk about corporate culture, Lori, because you're great at it. You have a great team. Before our interview, you mentioned that you're very, very excited about your team. But one thing that we really love that's really kind of indicates the type of corporate culture that you have is on your website. You have Meet the Dogs, and you
Yes.
have Spike and Teddy and a bunch of other dogs. I would imagine Blue in Alaska. They're the dogs of the people that work with you. And when we
Yeah.
saw that, we said to ourselves, this is someone that really gets like having fun,
Yes.
bringing sort of the team together, showing the dogs cute pictures, and really building this corporate culture. How important do you feel corporate culture is to transfer over to providing a superior service to your clients?
I mean, it's huge. It's everything. Because if you like what you do every day, you're going to do great work. And if you feel supported and cared for and heard, you're going to stay with the company, right? So all of that is valuable. And I'm the type of person, I have to wake up every day and be excited about what I'm doing. And I want my team to be that. And I will tell you, it is a challenge because we're a virtual team. There are people that have worked for me for 7 years that I've never met. We've always met on Zoom. So we meet on Zoom on Mondays and Thursdays, and we literally spend 20 minutes just shooting the poop over over what we did on the weekend, or talking about different things, talking about our kids, all of that sort of stuff. We've had team members that have had babies. We had virtual baby showers. We have virtual Cinco de Mayo, bring your margarita to work, and we're going to sit around and we do team scavenger hunts on Zoom. So I think it's easy to feel isolated when you're working virtually. And I want people to still have fun and still be able to like ask questions and be comfortable and enjoy, like know a little bit personally about who people work with. And the thing about the dogs, I will tell you, from a social media standpoint, dogs get a lot of clicks. So anytime you incorporate dogs or babies in your marketing, I don't care what your topic is, you will get a lot of like likes and eyeballs and all of that sort of stuff. So, but we do love our dog. We do love our little animals and stuff. But yes, corporate culture. And I think this is true, right? For our offices, for our clients. Like you don't want to have a crabby person that works there, because then you're going to get a bad Google review, even though you're a great doctor, because the girl at the front desk hates her life. And maybe it comes back on you. Are you treating your team and making them feel heard and loved and supported and all of that, and like part of the bigger like mission of what we're doing? So
Yeah, makes sense. It makes a lot of sense. Yesterday, I made a call to a company that I wanted to consider doing business with, and the person on the phone was crabby. And I said to myself, wow, that's a very bad first impression. And I would imagine you're so busy helping your clients bring in clients for their practices. I would imagine you have to have some conversations with your physicians as well that goes something like, hey, we're going to bring all these great leads and all these customers. You better have a good front facing person, or a good front facing answering service, or a good front facing receptionist to give a great first impression. Isn't that important with your medical marketing?
yes. And you know what's very interesting about that, with all the world changing so quickly and AI? Um, I had a demo of a company that did an AI receptionist, and I thought, oh, this is going to be cheesy, right? This is going to sound like a robot. It wasn't. It was so good. And this AI receptionist could answer 25 phone calls all at the same time. So nobody's on hold. The AI receptionist is never going to quit on you. The AI receptionist is never going to be in a bad mood. And so I don't know that the technology is 100% there yet, but I bet if you and I meet again in another year, I mean, and not again, we don't want to replace people with robots, but there are some things that are happening now that may be able to overcome some of those obstacles of employee turnover and somebody having a bad day, or, this AI receptionist answered the questions, the specific like questions of the caller better than a human could. I mean, very specific answers. So I don't know, maybe that'll be the future. And then you kind of have, you can't replace people doing the medical care and the aesthetic treatments and things like that. But yeah, at the end of the day, marketing will make the phone ring. If the person that answers the phone is crabby, that's not marketing's problem. That's the staffing problem. So having the right people on your team, getting rid of any C players, right? C players are not, you want A players and B players because the A players bring the B players up to their level. So having the right team is invaluable.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Of course, I'm sure you give some consultation on that as well. One thing you've done very, very well, Lori, is you do webinars, and they're well received. You do them often. And let's get back to some of the entrepreneurs watching the show. How important are doing these webinars? Is this something that you recommend for your clients, maybe to do a beauty webinar or
Yes.
a anti-aging webinar, something like that?
Andy, you need to come work at Medical Marketing Whiz. You know all of our secrets here. Yes. So the answer is yes. So from me, I do a webinar every month. And this is just training on different aspects of marketing. And to be honest, any entrepreneur should do this. It builds up your YouTube content. At the beginning, you might be talking to no one. You literally might not have one person on your webinar. Who cares? It gets you good at speaking. Then when you want to go speak at a meeting and you want to be on stage and they say, well, I'd like to see some of your speaking things that you've done. You've got an entire library of different talks that you've done, right? So that again, elevates your authority. For me, specifically with we really doubled down on this during COVID because everybody's office was closed. And I'm like, oh my gosh, nobody's going to need marketing. So I just started doing webinars every week, and we tripled our business when everybody was closed because of it. And I thought, okay, I got to just keep doing this. So I do it once a month. Sometimes tonight I have a webinar where I'm speaking for a medical device company, and they're inviting their doctors that have this certain piece of equipment, and I'm doing a talk specifically for them. I also just do them on my own. And then yes, absolutely. We have our clients, we have them do it quarterly. Only because again, they're very busy seeing patients, and there's a little bit more logistics involved with that. So once a quarter, some sort of an either in-office talk, like seminar, or some sort of webinar. And we help them kind of put all the collateral together, do the video editing and all of that sort of stuff. But I will tell you the two things that have changed the game for me in the last 24 months in growing our business is consistently doing those webinars and my book. Writing a book is one of the fastest things you can do to build authority. It is amazing. You can self-publish this thing on Amazon KDP. It costs me $3.50 for an author copy of that book. I order bulk author copies of that book, and that is so much better than me handing out a glossy trifold brochure that's going to go in the garbage can. And it honestly doesn't cost me that much more. And I mail these books to doctors across the country, and I book a ton of calls from it. So that was a piece of advice that I got out of one of my masterminds, was creating a book and then doing the regular webinars, and that Completely works.
Wow. You walk the walk and talk the talk. You're the person, the entrepreneur who really understands the inside of what your clients' needs are. Of course, you have testimonials from physicians on your website. So you really put into play what you're teaching your clients to do and doing for them. So it's a great synergy. It's a great unique selling proposition where you say to a physician, not only are we going to take your marketing to the next level, but we do it as well. And here's
Yes.
our results. And it's fantastic. I'm going to bring you back on the show in another 6 months because we want to talk about AI and how it's changing. You mentioned that. I'm sure
Yeah.
you're going to have some webinars and some writing about that as well. And that's certainly changing the medical space dramatically. I love what you're doing. I love the team. I love the pets. I love everything that you're about because you really are an amazing entrepreneur and there's so much to learn from you. So before I let you go, though, I want to talk to the younger entrepreneurs watching the show. Maybe they're having a tough time. We always do this with our great entrepreneurs. We want to give back. So maybe you could share some insight to the younger entrepreneurs. Maybe they're hitting a freeze frame. Maybe they don't know what to do. Maybe they're thinking about a pivot. What does it take to keep on pushing as an entrepreneur when times get tough?
Yeah, that's a good question. It is lonely being an entrepreneur, right? Like we're kind of the weirdos that have this internal drive that you just can't put out, and it's unique. Not everybody has it. Not everybody has what it takes to be an entrepreneur, right? So, I think just realizing that that's normal and then surrounding yourself with other people. You want to be the dumbest person in the room. Be glad when you're the dumbest person in the room. You want to like I started out joining like it was called the Women's Presidents Club, right? And it was all women's business owners, and we met once a month on Zoom. And it wasn't super expensive to be part of this, but it was really refreshing to just be on a call with other people that, are juggling running a business and, dealing with a screaming baby at home or aging parents or, whatever is, still having to go buy the toilet paper for your household, all of these like silly things. Right. But because we only see the successful people, we don't see that all those successful people are on the every Bill Gates, or Steve Jobs, right? They were on the struggle bus just like we are, but you didn't ever see any of that. So I think just you have to have a network of people that maybe it's the Chamber of Commerce. Like there's things that you can do to get involved and then you'll get ideas. Like to me, I love being around them because I'll always take away one or two ideas where I'm like, all right, cool. I got like a little pep in my step for like a new idea that I'm going to try. And then I think just realizing failure. I mean, I could tell you how many failures I have. Tons. I've wasted so much money on so many things that you can sit there and just beat yourself up about it. But just realize that's part of like, it's almost like when you're going to college and you're spending all this money to go to college, this is you're spending money to learn how to be an entrepreneur. And that's just kind of part of the process. And then also you have to maintain your health. You have to take breaks throughout the day to do breathing. I make sure that I exercise. And even if it's just like taking a break and going on a walk, because when you're in the grind, you cannot stay up until 12 o'clock at night until your eyes are droopy. And then you don't sleep well. It doesn't turn on the right part of your brain for that creativity to come out. So you have to take care of your health. That's the other thing. Even as a young person, you got to take care of your health. So
I love it. I love it. Great advice for the young entrepreneurs. Get off that tough bus and get on another bus facing the other direction. Surround yourself with talented people. Get some mentors. Reach out to people that understand things that maybe you don't understand. Surround yourself with talented people and keep on pushing. What a great ending to a great interview, Lori. I look forward to so many things that you're doing. We'll talk about AI on our upcoming feature in a few months. And I want to thank you so much for coming on the Entrepreneur Spotlight Show today. It's been fantastic.
yes, great to see you again, Andy. It was a lot of fun.